Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. These are 3 EDC items I absolutely will flip the whip around if I forgot them for that day. This was a hard list to put together because there are several EDC items I talk about on this channel, but I'll be honest with you. If I forgot a particular item on any particular day, I kind of would just risk it, but these are 3 things that no matter what's going on, I don't care if we're already 5 miles down the street, I'm whipping it around, or I'm going to see if I already have a backup with me no matter what. First thing we got to talk about is a knife. Listen, I almost always have a backup with me no matter what's going on, but I feel like a pocket knife for me is just a must do. The other day I went on a bike ride with my daughters and we were like 1.5 miles away from the house already, and I didn't have a knife in my pocket, and I was just like, I will catch up because a knife for me is critically important. I do stupid things with my knife. I do smart things with my knife, opening packages, prying stuff. The other day I was taking staples out of wallpaper. Shouldn't be doing it, but I did it anyway. Trying to take down some old blinds, and they use flatheads instead of Phillips in the 90s. And I used a knife. Listen, I know I'm beating my shit up, but I use it, and it always comes in handy when I don't have it in my pocket. I feel naked immediately. And if I had to really come down to it, I would want a knife that will be okay outdoors and indoors, or I don't have to sharpen so often. So I kind of categorize it down to some of these right here. First is my Benchmade, the full size Adamas. This is rocking the CPM crew wear, which is going to be god tier outdoors. This is so big and beefy. It almost replicates a full tang full size knife. Obviously it is not. It's nearly a 4-inch knife, one of the biggest knives that Benchmade makes right now. I think the Crooked River is the biggest one that they make in production right now. Maybe the full size Adira, I'm not really sure, but these are big knives, good scales on them, full liners, just a really good. It has standoffs instead of back spacers, but it's still a big beefy knife to be able to carry with you no matter what. The axis lock that's coming from Benchmade is buttery smooth on this knife, unlike some of like even smaller knives from Benchmade. This one's really good. A lot of times I have an issue with like the door action or the closing of a knife with the Benchmade. I have no issues with this. Almost makes me really miss my mini Adamas to the point where I'm thinking about getting another one. And then kind of one of the ones I picked up recently. Oh, and the Benchmade I bought with my own money. This one, this is the Tribeca by Giant Mouse. I bought this with my own money as well, and I can't believe how much I like this knife. I like the weight of it. I love the scales. I like the wire clip. The only thing I don't like is it's a liner lock. I kind of wish it was like a crossbar, but I think that would take away from the aesthetics of the scales. I understand that. I get that. But that doesn't mean I still can't wish it could be something else. But I like the Magna Cut blade on this. It does get gummed up really easily with tape and stuff like that. So that's one thing that if you do get something like this, you're going to be cleaning it more often than not. You can kind of see just like that. But the titanium scales still look really good for as much as I carry this. I love the brass accent back here. That's kind of like one of the, I guess, signature things that Giant Mouse does. The jipping on the spine of the blade. This is a really good knife. I'm a big fan of it. I got this one for less than 200 bucks, so it was a good deal for me at the time. And I can't recommend this enough. Telling you, can't leave the house without a knife. And then the final one for me recently would be the olive knife. Now this one here is the Lenta, and I will say that the price of this but it is made of tungsten instead of any. It has a hardness level that is incredibly strong, 67, 68 type of hardness level with this. You're smoking CPM Magna Cut. This is a very capable blade that you will not be sharpening very often. When it is time for that to happen, I'm just going to send it to the manufacturer, ask them to give it a go. I love the finish of the blade. I love the look of it. I think they did a really good job with this. Even when you use it, it still has that mirror finish. It looks real good on the edge itself. G10 scales, okay, but it feels like a premium G10. I love the details on the scales. These would kind of be like my 3 go-tos over the last couple of months. Of course, I got a lot of knives, but these are kind of the ones that kind of always draw me in. Next thing, I'm whipping it around. I'm talking about, I don't care what we got going on, what we're doing. If I don't have a real watch on me, not a smart watch, the whip is getting turned around. I'm sorry. I know you smart watch lovers out there. Longtime channel sponsor Veer is absolutely banging them out for me personally. But if I don't, at a minimum, have a digital watch or an analog watch, preferably, I'm turning the whip around. I mean, we got this G-Shock. This is a GD100. Is a digital watch, which I've had for 7 years and have never changed the battery. god tier battery life. I know there's Phoenix watches out there that if you get a couple of days of sunlight or a couple hours of sunlight, they go for like a month. I understand that, but this, I just love the fact that I'm disconnected. There's no GPS in this bad boy. This thing just gets the information that I need for a couple of cities, gives me the date for a couple of cities, the times for several cities, and it just really looks good and it's very functional. But I really like even more today's video sponsor, which is Veer and their C5 Tactical Field Solar Watch. I've talked about this watch plenty of times because I absolutely love the fit, function, and form of this. I think it works well. Easy, big, easy read dial on this bad boy. And the thing I like about Veer watches the most, I really like the style and the confidence they give me when I wear their watches, whether I'm wearing a chronograph, if I'm wearing a field watch. I love the compliments I get on them, the styling of them, and I'm just a really big fan of them. I have a lot of their competitors' analog watches, and these are the bangers I oftentimes pick up, whether if I want a quartz movement, if I want something that's solar power, or if I want an automatic movement, which they're doing for all of their watches. What I like about this, it is a 40 millimeter. I think it looks really good. You get 2 watch straps when you get this bad boy. You can upgrade if you want to get this tropical strap, similar to what I have here. But I think that you will not be disappointed. This is one of their most popular selling watches for a particular reason. You're going to like how big the dial is. You're going to like the painted loom, the loom that's applied to the dial, easy to read numbers at night. And you get the date calculation on there as well. Check the link down below for the best pricing on this watch. I will not leave the house without a real watch on. It's just me personally. I wear a smartwatch at night. I like the sleep tracking capabilities. I wear a smartwatch when I cut the grass. I like to know how many steps I took. Those are my exceptions. This is the rule. And for me personally, I think that it goes beyond just confidence and the actual self-confidence and the compliments. Wearing a real watch, especially with sapphire crystal glass, I think is important for an emergency situation. Let's say you get stuck somewhere for more than 24 hours. If you're tethered to most smartwatches, I'm not talking about the ones who are out there spending $1,100 on a Phoenix. I'm just talking about most smartwatches, you're tethered to a charger within 2 days. If you get stuck somewhere and you need to know when a repetitive action happens every day, analog watch is going to get you there more suited than a smartwatch. If you need to break this sapphire crystal glass in an extreme emergency situation, you can use this. It will be one of the tiniest knives in the world, but you can break this, tie it to a small stick or whatever that, use this to fillet a fish, to have a small knife. You can do that. The glass on these bad boys, they're extremely resistant to scratching. Unlike a smartwatch, they're just made much better, more premium material. That's just my opinion on that. And in an emergency situation, yes, a smartwatch can find north, south, east, west. It has a built-in compass, at least most of them do. But once that's dead, then you're going to be using your land nav skills. Or with a watch like this, you can use this to figure out which way south is simply by figuring out where the sun is in the sky. Most easily done as long as it's not high noon and obviously it's not dark. This thing, I think, is much more suited for me. That's why I don't like leaving the house without it. It makes me feel naked. I'll whip it around no matter what. Now, the next one was kind of hard because I'm thinking about, do I want fire sources? Will I leave the house without a fire source? Yeah, I'll leave the house without a fire source. Would I leave the house without a cell phone? Yeah, I will. I have an iPod Touch because specifically, if I don't want to bring a cell phone with me to the grocery store or to a specific place, I just won't bring one with me. Will I leave the house without a flashlight? This was a hard one for me. Yeah, I will. Because at the end of the day, these things are great, but most of the time I can't recharge these in the field. So they're not really useful for me. And then finally, would I leave the house without a wallet of some kind? Yeah, I would. If I run into police, I know my driver's license number by heart, I would just take the ticket, whatever. But I'd never, ever leave the house without a container. I just don't. And I realized this by talking to Mrs. X. I said, babe, what do you see me carry every day no matter what? She's like, you always got something to drink with you and you always got a watch. So that lets me know it is very important to me have a way to keep myself hydrated, because if I get into an emergency situation where I can't hydrate myself or my kids by tapping into a side of a building, having water with me, being able to use this type of stuff to gather water and bring it somewhere else and decontaminate it later, it's important to me. And I will turn the vehicle around if I don't have the most simple form of drinking water or a Nalgene bottle, but I really prefer to have my Grail bottle with me because it can definitely, purify some water for me. But it, like, having containers with you, I think is like crazy important. Now, this is my favorite. If I had to just choose between all of them, it would be a hard choice between a Nalgene bottle because of the capabilities. You can get these modified and use them with a gas mask. They're big, easy numbers on the side to read and see how much you've been drinking. Very, very durable, relatively cheap, but susceptible to being destroyed. They're not the most friendly to heat. Put these accidentally over a fire, this thing is kaput. So I kind of lean towards anything that's made of a durable metal, a stainless steel, or a titanium. This is the Grail. This is the GeoPress in titanium. I like this one because it has a built-in filter with 300 use presses through it, 6-month shelf life for the filter. But also you can just use it as a water bottle. You don't have to wait until you get into some crazy emergency situation to use this bottle. It does function as such as a water bottle, which I think is crazy important. I mean, comment down below, what are the 3 things you never leave the house without? Maybe they're similar to what I have here. Maybe for you it's a bag, it's a pouch. I mean, we got plenty of those, but I'll leave the house without a pouch any day of the week. But these are the things. No, it's not gonna happen. I don't care what you say. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.